Hey everybody, welcome to Nerfcast. This is Josh.
Chris.
My name is Rob.
Hey Rob, thanks for being on. Many of you guys probably know or have heard of Rob from a documentary Thunderdome. It's been sort of all over the Reddits and the NIC community. Jack's been promoting it. Bobo's been promoting it. Tons of people have been getting it out there. So Rob, welcome aboard. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Dude, thanks for having me, man. I'm pretty excited about this.
Oh, awesome.
Anytime I get to talk about Nerf, it's a good day.
That's right. That's what we say. Usually we start out, we have new guests. We just want to get people to get to know them. So we usually do like a little bit of a Nerf origin story. Like what got you into Nerf? Like what started it?
There's a few different kind of chapters to my Nerf story. I think I've got the similar one to one everyone won when they were young. You know, I had a few Nerf blasters. I had an Eagle Eye and a sharpshooter, and I had like 4 darts for it. But I had a great time with them. And then I got to college and rediscovered night finders, and then figured out I could mod them. So I bought about 8 or 10 of them and modified them. We played on the 10th floor of our dorm, and I just kind of converted all my friends into just chasing each other around, and it was a pretty good time. And I stuffed those away in a box. And then a few years later, after I bought a house, after there's this the events of a movie that I filmed called Give a Damn, where we hitchhiked across the country living on $1.25 a day, and then there was a plane crash that happened, and basically I came home, I had PTSD, everything was messed up, built a house, and then I opened up that box of Nerf guns, and then we started playing with it in the house, and then I just decided to build a Nerf arena in my backyard. And so there's kind of 3 stages of it, but I'm happy with it. I'm back at it now, you know.
Dude, that's so awesome.
That was a very truncated version of it. That's as quick as I could really do that, you know.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. We don't want to take all of it out of the people need to hit the Kickstarter up so you get the movie out there, the documentary, and all the details of that. We don't want to pull them all out on the podcast, but definitely. So Thunderdome itself, what How did it start? I mean, obviously it was like you and some friends, right, playing in your backyard. Like, how did you get out there? Like, when did that happen?
It started out like in the house. I usually tell people it's like a 15-year-old learn how to use power tools and build houses, and then it just went horribly wrong, but it worked out. And so we played in the house. I actually knocked down part of a wall to put another doorway so we could have 2 fighting walkways that went the entire length of the house. And inside was great for a while. It got a little bit stale, and then I just started looking at his backyard, which I was doing nothing with. There was just like some cinder blocks and stuff, and I was like, I could just build a couple pieces of cover out here. That would be pretty fun. And I did that. Put a little bit of a net up around the outside of it, and then I just went crazy. I'm kind of one of those people who just like goes crazy with an idea and will just run with it until I get sick of it, until I figure something else better to do with it. And so for 3 months, I just kept building stuff. There was like 5 pieces of cover at first, and then I built a small building, and then we built sniper towers, and then it turned into drawbridges and spectator stands. And so it was just something I really fell in love with, and it was helping me cope with my PTSD and just my depression, and just keeping moving helped me not have to focus on all the negative stuff I was thinking about. And so we had like 8 to 10 people at first, and then they kind of got sick of it, so it was just like me. And then I started just begging people to come play with me, and I went to this one party, ended up linking up with the Missouri State Live Action Society, which is a Nerf group up there. Just randomly, I brought a bag of Nerf guns over to this party, just like, okay, hopefully some of these people will see that I have Nerf guns and be like, oh, Nerf guns, I will come play Nerf with you. And it worked out to be that and so much more, where I met so many new friends through this Nerf club, and we ended up just hitting it off, and me going up to their thing, and then a couple of them came over to my thing. And then the 2 of them just kind of merged together, and we've been good friends ever since. That group on Facebook, it's got like 435 members. We had an HVZ that's our biggest one was 500. We do a big biannual one. So nice. it's like I usually say Springfield, Missouri is like a small big town or a big small town, and it's perfect for Nerf because you can get everyone rounded up from the surrounding area. The most it's going to be is really like a 15-minute drive, and so you can just put out the call on a Tuesday night and then get 15 people out here if they're in the mood, That's
nice. Awesome. That's super awesome. So when you guys do like HVZ, is that, do you guys play at like a college campus or
yeah.
you guys working it?
Yeah, it's that's separate from what Thunderdome is. I haven't tried to do like any kind of HVZ. I don't think that would really work out for my format. But yeah, it's Missouri State Live Action Society. You can find them on Facebook, and we're at a point where we're starting to invite folks from other campuses and stuff. So we usually do one about Halloween, a week-long HVZ, and then we do one in the spring about March or April.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But yeah, tons of fun. The last theme we did was Wild West. The year before, or the fall before that, we did HVZ Gotham City. So we had everyone like the main villains dressed up as Batman and the Joker and stuff like that. So we go hard. It's a good game.
That's awesome, man. Oh man, I wish we had the resources to do some of that out here.
What's stopping you from doing it though?
$2 million houses.
Ah.
$2 million houses that still do not have a yard when you pay $2 million. That is probably the biggest thing. But
well, I got buddies up in St. Louis. I'm trying to start these Thunderdomes everywhere and just kind of encourage people to just start going with things. I think there's a lot of reasons to not do stuff. Right. And it's not all those reasons are real. Like you could play in a public park, you could find somewhere to do a lock-in. I don't know. It's a different world out there. There's plenty of places that I can rig stuff up here. But I was fortunate enough to own my own house, to have no neighborhood association where I could just kind of do whatever I wanted with it. But it's going to be a little bit different everywhere. Public parks, schools, just wherever you can Nerf is the right place to Nerf.
Exactly. That's what we're always kind of trying to put out there is like the hardest part is just getting out and going and doing it. When we run games over here, we just run them, off of there's a park that's sort of connected to a school, and we kind of roll that way. Mm-hmm. We're always telling people like if we do it in California, you can definitely do it wherever you are. We've got like super strict laws with firearms and cops getting called on people, and like I said, we can't build out in our backyard. But dude, just you'd be surprised how many people are in your area that will just be ready to come out and Nerf.
Yeah, totally, man.
Dude, that's totally where it's at. Even HVZ, we do that out here. It's rough, but we don't put them on. There's another group up in San Francisco that we have that puts it out.
Nice.
Man, it's awesome. It's awesome. To Mr. Verone.
So when you're talking about, because I was watching the preview for the documentary, spreading Thunderdome, you're more thinking about spreading the idea of people playing Nerf as a group, right?
You're cutting out. I'm getting some Google Hangout feedback. One more time on that.
Said when you're talking about spreading the word of Thunderdome, you're pretty much trying to get people out to just go out and Nerf, right? That's the plan.
I think I got what you're saying here, but basically just your question is with Thunderdome, I'm just trying to get people out and trying to do a community thing. Is that what you're asking?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is about Nerf. We play hard. We have a great time at it. When we're over here, there's Nerf going on. But I think Nerf is just kind of it's an excuse for you to make friends, for you to spend time off your couch and get out and be active. So the message of Thunderdome is that Nerf has the power to save lives. Like you have the ability to change your friend's life and potentially save his life just by being there for him and chasing him around with a Nerf blaster. I just think that there's such a power in that community.
Yeah, totally agree, man. Because it's kind of like, I don't know, a lot of people that I know are not into sort of the regular sport type stuff, right? The soccer and basketball and all of that sort of stuff. And this is such a great way to escape, but not be sitting on your couch doing, Call of Duty or whatever. It's sort of that real world.
Yeah, Drac kind of summed it up. He's just like, it's really good for people who like video games or maybe have been addicted to video games because you get to be that guy. It gets you off the couch, kind of being the in the game guy and just doing that with your friends. And it's not headset friends, but doing stuff friends. Yeah,
real actually interacting with real people and building those relationships that you don't online. There's
totally.
on the internet, on the Xbox. But
I got a question for you guys. I got a question for you guys. Have you guys had any issues with video game addiction before? Have you had periods of your life where you were just playing lots of Xbox Live? I had some Diablo 2, Warcraft time. Like, have you ever been addicted to video games?
Personally, no. But I definitely know that we've had some members that are really those hardcore introvert kind of gamers that we've had at our games that you know, I've rarely seen them out doing anything else, and I've known them through doing stuff like that. And it's cool because we have seen them come out and really open up, sort of come out of their shell a lot more, just out on the field nerfing with people. And we always go like what we always do, because you know it's not our house or anything, but we go to like pizza down the street after we're done and have everybody get together. You know, anybody that can make it that wants to come, they're more than welcome. We just have pizza, talk about the games, improving them, and just kind of build that camaraderie.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
I think I took a week off for Skyrim once. That was probably about the worst I've ever done. I mean,
that sounds like you're doing Skyrim pretty good. Everyone I know who plays Skyrim is just like, it's like the cocaine of video games where you just can't stop, you know? But,
yeah, I mean, the thing that the older I've got, the more, I don't know. Maybe my reflexes aren't as good as they used to be on the sticks. I'll play some NBA 2K15. I'm a big hoops guy. I play basketball, playing 2 leagues a week. You know, everything on the playoffs this year is DVR'd, so it's definitely a passion. But I don't know. I don't got time for the sticks like I used to. Play Diablo 3. Totally. I think me, him, and someone else.
Yes.
But you know, I mean, I'll go in spurts, but I can't. I would, since this guy got me into Nerf. Now it's like it's that monthly crack addiction. Like the game's coming up. All right, I got 2 weeks. How many mods can I get in before the game? How much stuff can I paint to bring with me? I got to have something new to show off every game. And then I wore my Fitbit once while we were playing. And a good day, you're talking about between 10 and 14 miles of running.
That's a crazy game, man. I want to hear about your game types if you're running that much, man.
Oh, man, yeah.
So we used to run Capture the Flag and King of the Hill, and the game has turned pretty much into just King of the Hill most of the time. Josh is the moderator of the game with another gentleman that used to be on the podcast with us. And they bought these cube timers. So it's a bunch of different colors, and when you flip it up, it counts up the timer. So it makes it really stupid-proof for everyone that plays. Put those on 3 points of the field, and you're just battling it out for those timers in two 15-minute rounds. And we'll get in.
I really like the use of that timer. That's a really interesting way of just having something to kind of capture, you know. We didn't have a lot of good luck with Capture the Flag and Thunderdome just because it's a really kind of small area. Up on campus, we've had, Capture the Flag's different in wide open spaces. In smaller ones, you have to make rules where you go like, okay, I'm going to take the flag all the way there and then back, and then I'm going to do a cartwheel and then take it back again. And it just gets really confusing.
Dude, timers are once we discovered, because Capture the Flag was first, then once Josh and Sean discovered the timer thing, and we were using chairs with like a ghetto timer strapped to each arm before Sean found the timers. Man, King of the Hill is super fun. Everyone's always in action. You get tagged, you go do your 15-second respawn back at your base, you're back in the fight. You know, you're tagged, you're back in the fight. It's just a lot of it's a lot of movement. You're always doing something. You're always running around, either battling with somebody or trying to take a point. Sometimes people just run by, flip the cube timer, and just keep running to try to steal some time back.
Well, cool, man. I hear you talking about King of the Hill, and I think we got a whole different King of the Hill system. Like up on Missouri State campus, we play King of the Hill. It's a 3-day engagement. Typically, we played it where it was 2. And how we do it is there's moderators who are running the game, and it's a clip system game rather than you have your 315 or whatever, or you have a respawn flag. You just have like a physical amount of clips. Say there's 2 teams starting. Each team has 40 clips, and those represent life clips. And so it's very different from HVZ where you have that one life where you're just like, I must survive. With this, you get to YOLO just a little bit more. It changes loadouts. It changes strategy a whole lot. And you're just battling over anywhere from like 2 to 3 points that can be active. But yeah, like they're open at overlapping times, but different times. So you're not going to like try and close 2 points at one time, but it's such an epic experience to have those ongoing battles for like 2-3 days. It's kind of like that HVZ feel, except with you can YOLO it and you're not as stressed out from it.
Hey man, how do you get people to be mods without playing?
What's that?
How do you get people to be dedicated mods without playing? I don't think I could pull that off.
We actually have councils, man. Like it's kind of an honor to be a mod around here. And yes, you always get flack. It's like maybe being a content creator on YouTube. There's always going to be some negative comments, but you know, as long as you produce a good experience, then you just kind of slack it out or don't worry about it is the word I'm looking for. But like how we do our HVZs is there's a council that meets for 2 to 3 months before that weekly. and they choose the game type. They, we have meetings after the HVZ from last semester and figure out, okay, what went wrong, what went right, what do we want to vote on as far as this absolutely has to change, this should stay the same. But basically, yeah, it takes 2 or 3 months to just develop this whole story. And so being a mod isn't just like, oh, you have to be a mod today. It's like you've made this choice to be the game maker, So it's we really have people who want to do it.
He's our D&D dungeon master, so.
Yeah, I would love to. Me and Sean have actually planned out and prepped like an HVZ event that never ended up happening. But man, I would love to do that stuff. I would love to do multiple day games. It's just that it's rough out here with finding locations that we can be at overnight where the cops don't get called on us.
One of the main things that's changed in the last few years is when I first started playing with these guys, it was like the 24-hour games where you'd be stalking people at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was campus security really had a problem with that, and they were doing some stuff where they were trying to throw Nerf blasters off campus for a while, and it didn't pass. Everything was fine, but one of the compromises we made with them was, okay, we'll only do games up until about 8 o'clock at night while it's still light out. And at first we kind of fought that, and we're like, oh, it sucks. We can't, stalk people down at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we won't have those epic late night battles. But it ended up being a very laid back thing where as soon as the game's over at 8 o'clock, we have a mission every night, Wednesday through Sunday. Monday and Tuesday are just build days. But as soon as gameplay is over, everyone can just be friends. You have less animosity between the humans and zombies, and you have more bros and bras moment where you just. It's just less ripping up darts and more just that was awesome, and I can't wait to fight you again tomorrow,
Ripping up darts. Oh, the zombies ripping up ammo?
That does happen. We don't have that happen with Thunderdome. Our rule about Thunderdome is don't be a douchebag and don't bring douchebags. And so if there's someone who comes in, you kind of have to know somebody to come here. And if you show up and you're a jerk, you're not going to be invited back. With HVZ and bigger games on campus, we open those doors a lot wider. And so it's hey, if you want to play, we'll let you play. And sometimes, especially in the earlier games where there was that animosity, it was zombies were sometimes hoarding darts or ripping them up. And this is very 1% of 1%. Some people who were just mad. Right. But it's an issue that has happened in the past, but doesn't happen frequently.
Yeah,
no, I can understand that. With our Nerf groups, we've had people that are definitely not the nicest show up at games. Sometimes not ones that we're running, like HVZ events and some other events we have up in the city. People come out and do some really douchey things.
Oh yeah, we had the BB tipped up. I remember that.
Oh yeah, we did have somebody who was putting little BBs inside. They take the hole on an actual elite dart and just put a BB in it, and it would just sort of close around it. Or they'll fill it with hot glue, so it still looks like a normal dart, but then it's a little different.
I got another question for you guys.
Yeah.
So, I think it is important, even for the douchebags, to be allowed to come. I think you should be able to kind of talk to them. And if there are some people who maybe it's not worth it, or they've been disrespectful to the people in your group, and it's kind of maybe a cancerous thing, at what point would you, after someone was being a jerk, what would be your cutoff point to say you are no longer allowed to be in my group?
Ooh, it's rough. We're pretty fortunate because in our personal group, we haven't had that happen. We've had people do some things, but usually we're always hey, we could talk to them, and just say, hey, we've had some people say this about you. This basically the way we do it is say, hey, if you have a complaint about a certain individual, let us know as mods. We will handle it off of the field privately and personally to try to get both sides of the story, figure out what's going on, if there's any way to resolve it. Sometimes people will always go, oh, this guy's calling his hits or something like that. Dude, let us just talk to this guy. Hey, just be more aware. We've had some people say that you're not calling hits or you're doing this or you're breaking this rule. And usually people are really cool with it because they'd rather just be there to play. I know for some of the HVZ events and really bigger events, it's kind of the same thing. We get max, I think we've had is 30, almost somewhere between 30 and 40 people at our games. But HVZ and some of the knockout events, we've had hundreds of people. So there have been people at those games where I've seen people break rules and things like that, but I'm not modding them or moderating them. So it's been well, I don't know how they're handling that.
See, I'll give it. So he's thinking from a mod perspective. I'll give it from a player perspective.
Yeah.
I think our group that we play with, So we're lucky. We have two great mods. Sean and Josh are really good negotiators, right? And then we have a couple other people that are just kind of alphas, and just kind of like, you know, if the group's being unruly or not going the right direction, there's a couple people, like if I raise my voice, all right, everybody get your asses in line, let's line up for this game. They just kind of do it, and I think what helps. So these guys for the games, it's a dart rental system. So you come in, you can bring your own darts if you want, or you can pay $5 to use the darts in the day.
Nice. That's a good way to do it. I never thought about doing that. I just do all Thunderdome is it's kind of the same thing. Like I have thousands of house darts and I'm always kind of dumping more into it. So I almost like tell people, hey, don't bring your own darts. Use what I got. And if you do want to bring your own darts, like just leave them here when you get done. Because you know what happens? Someone will bring 25 darts and they'll lose all of them or whatever, or they'll go over the fence. And at the end, they're like, well, I want 25 darts. And so it kind of hurts the situation more than just playing with mine in the first place.
And it takes so long to go through the darts. We've done that at HVZ events and Tag Hop events where they're like, oh, you spend the last hour of a game when you could be playing just going through darts and sorting them out so people can get theirs back.
Oh, wow. Like I went up to the Live Action Society in Missouri State, and I labeled some of my darts, and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, how do we keep track of darts? And he looked at me and was like, don't worry about it. And that was the last time I ever tried to figure out like getting my darts back, you know? So it's just don't even try.
I buy darts every game. I'll order darts from overseas for every game we play, and still I still pay the dart rental fee just in case I need it, and then just leave my darts on the field for them.
Yeah, you're talking about Koosh darts or what I call the China darts. Which ones are you talking about?
We started with Koosh. Well, actually, no, we started with the Chinese knockoffs that were horrible. We actually brought those to someone else's event and made sure we used them all at someone else's event.
Dude, did they do the helicopter thing with you? Like sometimes they kind of work, and then sometimes they're just like,
Oh, we were playing, and we watched darts. Swear to God, almost a 90-degree turn to the right.
Yep.
And got
same experience. Sounds like a good deal until you realize what they are, and then you're like, you just try and pawn them off on anyone other.
I was like, oh, but they're silver. They're like werewolf darts for HVZ. You can kill a vampire or something. Here, take these.
Have I got a deal for you, sir? Just take these darts out of my house. Yeah.
Then we went to Koosh. Like we discovered Koosh along with the rest of the internet community and put that through extensive testing. We actually have our own accuracy testing system we do for the darts.
So how long did it take you to discover that they explode? Like I've heard that the glue is changed on the Koosh darts where they're not explodey, but like every Koosh dart that I've really run into from the early days, they're great out of the box, out of the bag or whatever, and then the tips fall off like within.
Yeah, pretty much. But you figure it was $20 for 200 of them. I mean, I don't normally burn through more than 200 in a day, besides with the dart bin. So, I mean, yeah, the glue's better now, but the foam got worse.
It sounds like you're almost treating it like paintball, where you're restocking every time. Like we.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he does. He does.
No, the dart bin just stays.
So we bought like legit darts, and we actually had a dart drive like year 2 of our game because Amazon was running this like crazy deal where you were getting legit zombie strike darts, like a 30-pack.
$4.
It was like $4, so you're basically paying a little bit more than cheap Chinese knockoff darts.
Yeah.
So we just said, hey, you can pay the $5. Or you can bring a 30-pack of darts. And we had people bring like just shopping bags full. They ordered them online. So we have an entire thing just full of legit darts and then a bunch of proof that he has donated.
And now we allow, so these guys weren't allowing the full vinyl jackets for the first couple games this year. And then he had an epiphany moment and just said, screw it, we're going to allow them.
We got to try them at NovaCon game. We have some friends that's about an hour away. They had them at their game, and we had some players there, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't really feel a difference." And we had someone bring to our game, so we didn't put them on like the banned list of darts. And we were like, "Ooh, since we didn't put it on, we'll let you do it. Just be careful." And we talked about it afterwards because we kind of do everything as a group, where it's really just like, "Hey, what did you like about the game? What didn't you like?" And people were like, "Yeah, I didn't even notice that they were being run." So at the moment, we allow them for all of our stuff.
And those are $500 for $65. And they shoot straight.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm in a little bit different situation. 2 different entities. You've got the one up on the college campus, and you've got the one in the backyard. For the longest time, it's been me buying darts for the backyard and supplying it for everybody, and I totally love doing it, but it's also I'm kind of a broke dude most of the time. I've got a lot of investments going. I've got a rental property. I'm working on a movie. This is my second film, so my money's working. But so it's me buying the darts, and I can't afford to just buy good darts all the time. But I don't want to buy the crappy China darts either. And so what my solution to that is I buy mix match whatever, as long as it's Nerf brand. We'll shoot it, and it's a different situation in the backyard because we have like such a small space that we have we have gun restrictions where you can use single shots, revolvers, you can use magazines, but it's got to be 6 mags. And a good Thunderdome gun is a gun that's going to shoot any dart at all. So you can shove an Elite down in there, you pull pegs out of it. I wish we would have started going towards the Elite darts, but I just have so many of these other darts, and people are getting rid of them that I can't afford to not continue at the rate we're going. So good.
Have you checked out U-Toys darts?
What's that?
Have you checked out the seller U-Toys?
I haven't. I've probably seen it before. Is that Koosh darts or what is that?
No, it's I will say Chinese knockoff, but they're not the knockoff. They're not the shit knockoffs. They actually
real talk.
They're actually perform like Elites. Those are good. And then, do you guys have FPS limits for Thunderdome?
Well, it kind of works out where I'll watch things and we'll look at it. There's a sniper towers, and you can use higher powered blasters up there. There's a certain upper line, but yeah, on the ground, you can't really hurt people. So no one ever chronos anything. It's just a matter of if it's hurting people, you stick it in the tower. If you're hurting people from the tower, then it's banned. You know.
Yeah. You know what? After we get done with this, send us your address. I'll send you a pack of FUJs.
Sweet. I love to check them out.
I mean, they're hard tipped, but if you're not heavily modifying, they shouldn't hurt any more than anything else hurts.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. So,
my favorite darts of all time are those black ones, the Whistlers with the black shaft and the orange.
Yeah, the orange tip. Those things are nice.
And you were talking about that Amazon deal. Like for a while, this is like right before the Elites came out. They were selling the 100 packs on Amazon with the sweet like tote box, and I was getting it for like $10 for 100. And so I bought 1,500, and I still have a few of them. And it's just like they seem like they got a little bit more weight to them, but. Yeah, those were my favorites. They still are, but you just can't find them really unless they're like $60 for 100.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Nerf's got if Nerf as the company wants to expand it into more competitive, they're gonna have to allow dark bulk. Man, I can't talk. Bulk dart purchases.
Yeah.
The fact they're getting their butts kicked by China, and the sellers in China are making a better dart, right? So the Koosh darts. Shoot straight.
They do, but they explode. So if they've worked it out, and from what I've heard, they have worked it out. I'll give them the credit for that. I just haven't seen it yet.
The floaty part is definitely downplayed now. The newer ones have better glue. You're still going to run into production issues, but the FPJ, the full vinyl jackets, the hard tip ones, those things shoot straight as an arrow. Haven't run into any blaster problems yet, and they're like a quarter of the cost of a Nerf gun.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with my buddy the other day, and we all kind of have a love-hate relationship with Streamlines now because, they're big, they're wonky, they don't shoot very far. But, Streamlines you can step on them, you can eat them, and they will just last because they have that solid core to them. Elites are explosive, and they're tanks, man.
The old orange ones.
We got a guy that uses those, and I always make fun of him for them because they're the orange darts, and he always manages to tag me out once. One of those stupid orange darts. It's the last dart in its clip. It's his trace around. And every time, we've seen one arc 60 feet. I'm the only thing standing there, and he's arced a perfect shot right in the middle of my chest when we're on our walkway, and I'm talking smack for cleaner. Like, I cleared the whole walkway. I'm the greatest Nerf ever. And then I just see this one orange dart trickle right down and pop me in the chest. And it's just, man, I hate you because of that. Stupid.
That's my chaos class, man. Like for King of the Hill, I run I call it a Neo boot. It's really it's a PAS, and my tactics to that is I'm doing kind of recon, trying to get around in front of people and just trying to manipulate the other team and push them where I want to go. But I'm always I've got a bag of darts, and I'm just constantly throwing darts really far and just 3 or 4 shots in a row, just firing volleys at them. And the thesis statement is you are never safe. And so those darts where you're talking about just randomly coming down is when it happens, it happens. It might take me 15 to get you from 120 feet away, but I have this way of throwing the blaster into the air to make sure it gets that extra little feet to it, man.
I got a Thunderdome rules question.
Sure.
Since I've seen the video, I've been wanting to ask this to you. How do you treat ricochets for vortex discs.
Dead as hell. No one really uses the vortex discs over here. Like they can be, and every once in a while you get somebody bring a Vigilon or a Proton, but you have that 6-round mag rule, so it's beneficial to use what everyone else is using. What everyone else is using is just the regular darts, you know.
Yeah.
Damn, I love
the vortex, so don't get me started talking about that. I could talk about that.
So many angles there, so many like things to bounce stuff off of.
Yeah, it's dead dart. It's always been a dead dart in both the organizations I work with.
So the sniper towers. Talk to me about how people use those. Like I mean, that's got to be the coolest. I was watching. I'm like, this has got to be the most fun thing to have someone with a Vulcan just raining down hell and foam on everybody beneath them.
Yeah. It started out where I was building it up and we just put lawn chairs on there the first time and that totally didn't work out. And then I realized that, okay, we need to build this up so it's kind of encapsulated up there. And the rules for the sniper towers are there's two, one on each corner, and then I built another one in the center. And the center is meant to be used actively, like you can crawl up in there during game types. There's a climbing wall that's made of like the plastic rock wall. So you can jump up in there, you can get a like forward position on people, and then they can tag the floor and get you out. And it's active. Now the other sniper towers, I think they're about the same height, but they're just built differently. Where if you're in there, you are a sniper for the entire game, so no jumping down. It's got a flappy door on the front. You're free to use that. And people can get you out. They can either shoot you or they can run up and tag. Like it's 6 foot high where your feet are at, so they can just touch the deck and then you're out with that. The Vulcans, we've only had the Vulcans up there a few times. I just put the mounts up there just so we'd have the option to it, but it's way too overpowered. But more often than not, you get snipers up there. I can tell you about the game the trademark game that we play, and that really it delegates how everything goes in there. Like all the tactics are really based around this one game that we play. You know.
Nice.
That's
yeah, nice. I feel how that goes. That was really the way that we started. Was all capture the flag, and then we did this slow transition to domination / King of the Hill. And that's really sort of dictated a lot of how things are going. We kind of always try to create like a new game type, like once a season or something.
I got more sniper tower questions. I'm not done this one yet. Has anyone brought a Centurion on that thing and tagged somebody out?
Okay, the question is, what about the Centurion?
Has anyone put a Centurion in that tower and tagged somebody out?
Oh, you mean, okay, you shot somebody with a Centurion, as you're asking.
Yes, I know it's very hard, and there's only been like 6 tag outs in Nerf history with that blaster, but has someone done it from one of your towers?
No, not with the Centurion, at least. Like, I bought one, and I kept the coolest part, which is the box. Like, it just... So I got it, and I tried messing with it, and then it did that internals explode thing where it was like, this is kind of working, and so... I hit it against the chair, which kind of fixed it, and then everything exploded on the inside, and I just took it back. So, like, we don't see too many Centurions. Like, there was one guy who played at our normal every week games, but I don't know if I can say, like, how PG-13, what's your audience on this? Are we, like, normal community?
It's been said about Centurion. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, we call it the dog dick because it's like the big red rocket, you know?
Oh my God, screw that blaster and screw Nerf. It looks so good though. It just looks.
It's like, oh, a new launch set that's going to be perfect, and it's just not. I waited like 8 months for that thing to come out, and then I was just mad for 2 days once I finally played with the damn. You know?
I got one like a week before it hit the shelves because some dude from Walmart got it delivered and put it on Craigslist. So I traded him like a little bit of money on one of my modded blasters for it, and me and this guy take it out. And we're getting 100 feet, no problem, right, on testing night at 2 o'clock in the morning on my street. The next day is our Nerf game. I take it out. It shoots 55 feet. And they're like, we don't believe you. We're like, no, it was 100 feet. We did a tape measure. I swear to God, that's what happened. They're like, no, we don't believe you.
Dude, I'm just impressed you got it to fire because, yeah, like, I think when it fires, it's awesome. But most of the time, like, there was a kid who played with us just at our normal games, and it was like I counted in his mag, and it was like 1 in 6 times he pulled the trigger, something would come out of there, and then 1 in 10 of those darts would actually get anywhere near anybody. I didn't ever see him hit anybody with the thing.
I got Sean. I got one, the other guy that runs the game. I tagged him in his foot. Like the dart just shit itself out the barrel and somehow wiggled its way and hit him in the foot. Then I put the blaster down. I'm like, that's it. It's retired. We're done.
We're done. Go on the wall, dog dick.
It's so funny. You kept it for the box. I actually use the internal barrel I use the internal orange part from the barrel to mod my rampages. That's the best part of the blaster.
I never even cracked that thing because it was just broken to start, so I didn't want to use any of the parts. And plus, it was worth like $60 or $50 when it first came out, so I took it back and got a rapid strike. But what is up with that collapsing plunger tube? What were they thinking with that?
I think their thought was, if we put a direct plunger in this thing, the Nerf community is going to get their hands on it, and they're going to kill somebody. That's, I'm telling you, that's exactly in their brains.
Have you guys played with the Ultimator at all?
No, what is that?
The Ultimator, here, I got one. The Ultimator, let me see, where is it at? Yeah, anyway, the Ultimator, I'm sure you guys know exactly what this is. It's just been a while. This one.
I'm only in year 4, 3.
Okay, well, this is the Ultimator, and basically, like exactly what you're talking about being a death trap. It's not. It's kind of like a Titan, except for you prime it, and there's a giant metal. I gotta find this. I wasn't planning on playing with blasters today. Is here. Listen to this.
Oh.
And what that does is it moves a spring all the way back up here, and it's like a foot draw. It's the only Nerf blaster that I know of that has recoil to it. All right, listen to this.
Oh, I gotta find one of those on eBay.
I've heard of the Multivators. We've never seen one at our games.
Oh,
I did a lot of research before I started trying to get people around me into Nerf. But
that sounds like a shotgun.
Yeah,
I need to make that. I need one to turn into a shotgun.
I've never been able to find one at like a thrift shop or anything. And I mean,
most of them been picked out of the wild. Now I picked up 2 for $90 with like 1 rocket on eBay.
Right.
But yeah, man, I'm looking to get rid of one. If you guys want to trade me something, I'd love to get rid of one. I can't give any misses for it, but
we're gonna talk offline. I see your Spider-Man wrist blasters in the background too. Are those things pretty decent?
There's something. You know, I think with a lot of things, there's Nerf blasters that are awesome and work, and then there's Nerf blasters that are a really good idea and are fun to shoot around your house, and that's one of those. There was one kid who ran them all the time. You can kind of selectively push it down just a little bit and it'll go, but you're going to get 20 feet out of it. You could put elites in there, and they're more cosmetic than anything. But yeah, he'd run them. He had 2 Sonic Mavericks that were pretty good. But yeah, he run around, and I think he shot a few people with these a couple times in Thunderdome. But
nice,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I really enjoy all the weird little blasters, even if they aren't great. I love seeing stuff like that on the field. That's just crazy stuff. People always want to be super tactical, and it's like, man, you got to go out and have fun sometimes.
Oh, what did Kyle bring the one time? He brought the ball blaster.
Oh, one of the Ballzooka?
The balls.
Yeah, I got one of those too. Those are great.
Should have made a rolling roll for that.
Oh, I should have.
Should have made a rolling roll.
I think every once in a while you got to pull out the brake barrel and shoot a few people with it. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if you're going to YOLO, just like kamikaze, you got to get a kill with the brake barrel every once in a while just to feel like you're alive, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
I don't think I've ever seen one run on. I know Sean. I remember Sean buying one. We have them.
So with these guys, I came in their second year. I missed the whole first year. I've never actually. So I didn't play with Nerf blasters as a kid.
Your childhood sucked, by the way. Apparently, is that what you're saying?
I don't know why. You think I grew up in upstate New York. A lot of guns there, and I grew up in a family that hunted. So never played with Nerf blasters as a kid. I had like some plastic dart guns, but it was all.
It's because you got on that laser tag mad early.
I think on laser tag. My stepdad came up on 4 sets of the black laser tag guns.
Yeah,
so we were always playing laser tag. Yeah. So I didn't get in until these guys got me in, and I never was in pre-elite. So I don't know anything before elite. I don't understand it.
Man, you're like the guy I'm making these videos for, because I'm just like, I know all these blasters because I've been looking for them for years and just hunting them, and then I even just what you're saying right now, I can just kind of pick something off my wall and then shoot it around with a buddy, film a video about it. And it's interesting information because you can go onto the Nerf Wiki or whatever, and you can look at stuff, but you don't really get the feel for that's what that is, you know?
Oh yeah.
You had a question, sir.
Oh, you mentioned the Ballzooka, and I wanted to ask what you thought or what your ideas were of the Rivals line that's coming out that has the golf ball, mini golf ball ammo.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Kind of, if it works, it's going to be great. After the Centurion, I have no hopes and dreams of anything until I get to play with it. And so like everything sounds cool until I get to run it and see if it works or not. I don't know what the price point's going to be on those things. Honestly, I know that interchangeable line looked like that was going to be pretty expensive, but if it works and I can kill zombies with it, I'm totally going to love that rival thing, you know?
Oh yeah. I just I have mixed. It's a mixed bag. I'm totally in with you. Like if it works, it'll be awesome. I'll have to play with it myself. I got to get it in my hands, see how it feels, see how it shoots.
The thing I'm worried about with it, and it's just like when the Vortex stuff came out, it's great. The Vortex, I can do a whole spiel on those, but you're also changing ammo type up. And I think it's better to, it's like if you're in a combat situation, let's equate it to that. You need to have magazines that are going to be the kind of the same. If you're going to be using the same kind of ammo, you're going to be better if you can pick up all elite darts rather than being the one guy who's got megas and you got nothing to shoot, you know?
Right. We talk about it being like an ecosystem. Right, and keeping everything in the same ecosystem is a lot easier usually than having something, unless there's special rules for it. Because I know like Nobicon up north, they have they allow shields and melee. We don't in our games, but like you can break a shield with a mega dart. So a lot of people will run like a Magnus as a secondary, so that you can just destroy that shield. But it's easy to keep on.
Yeah, we've kind of had an evolution of that. Like when I first started hanging out with this live action society group at the campus, I went up on campus and they had like armor and swords and there was like grenade rules and rocket rules. I'm like, this is really overwhelming because we just played with I'm going to shoot you in the backyard and that was it. Darts are dart. And then over the course of my hanging out with them, they gradually shifted away from like they got rid of the armor was kind of the first thing. But the armor was like you could be taken out by getting hit with a sword. I think getting hit with a grenade and you're off your armor, it's just like it was unnecessarily complicated. And
right.
The melee weapons, and I think the only thing we're really down to is shields. And then your rockets kill a shield, that'll break a shield. Or you have grenades, which are socks or foam, stuff like that, and that gets one bounce. And I think that takes 3 grenades to toss that. But right. I don't know, different strokes for different folks. But melee, you got to have really restrainful people to even play with that because people just get really. I play with the folks down in Georgia with Drac at was it the SNEC, and like they were really good about melee. They're throwing Nerf swords and not hurting anyone, and that was not kind of the culture that we had. Like people just like the adrenaline gets going and people were just swinging on people, you know.
Yeah. See, I've seen a lot of that too. One of the things when we started Nerf because me and Sean I used to do airsoft. And I didn't like paying like $50 a game because I'd buy ammo and pay to go to a place. And I started seeing the Nerf stuff. I really wanted to make it as simple as possible because I didn't want to do too much policing of rules. Well, I come from sort of that same thing where it's like everything pretty much at our games is a one tag, one kill rule. You go back to respawn, but I wanted people to be able to play as much as they wanted, especially if they were paying $5 to rent darts from us. So I'm like, boom, you just go, respawn, come back, play. None of this like I've been to places where they have, you can get hit this many times with this ammo, this many times with this ammo, or once with a sword. But if you have a shield or you collect an extra, I'm like, that's so complicated. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen people do it, and then I'm like, ooh, did that count? I've seen other games where they're like, well, you get 3 lives, but then they'll run up and go, bop, bop, bop. Well, you're dead. I'm like, I thought I had to go back to the respawn point. That was my first life, and then now I come back. Like, yeah, but I shot you 3 times before you went back there. So I'm like, so confusing to me. One shot, go respawn, come back. That's the way we do it. It's easy. I don't have to mess with people.
Yeah, it's a modding nightmare with that too. Like you can mod the shields because shields are basically just like I have a shield and it is blocking said darts. But there was kids who used to run like full leg pads and full helmet and full armor, and I just got to the point where it's like if you have full body gear on, I'm not even going to fight you. I'm just going to go fight someone else because it's not fun at that point when there's not anywhere for me to shoot with my Nerf blaster, you know?
Right, which is like the entire point.
Yeah. And that's one of the things we had with our games. I was like, no melee. I don't want to make it overly complicated because what do you do if you tag a blaster with a melee? Because we have like blaster hits count. So if you're peeking around a corner and your blaster gets tagged, it still counts as out for us. And it just sort of became like, well, what do you do for this? What do you do for this? We had like a fun little rule that originally started out as if you catch a dart, it was kind of like dodgeball. The other person was out.
Huh?
So because my brother, like we were firing at him with a rapid strike or something, and he just Bruce Lee'd it like out of the air. And we're like, oh, that's so awesome, right? We want you to feel like a badass. So we instituted the rule, and people started like, "Oh, you're shooting at me!" Like I would fire a little bit of an angle. They would drop their blaster and try to catch it against their body, and I'm like, "Nope, we're done. We're done. You can do that still." And my rule is now the rules we came up with was you can do it and you're not out, but the other person is also not out. So if you drop your blaster to catch a dart, I'm just gonna run up and tag you.
That's fair.
Dumb. Try to add a little bit of craziness to the rules, and that's what you get.
Well, you also like, and this will be me doing this as well. Like, anytime we create a new game type or someone else creates it, like the point of the game is to win. And sometimes you win by not exploiting the rules, but by working within the confines of the rules. And sometimes that means exploiting things and being a little not douchey, but just like you're using the rules, you know?
Sure, for sure.
And so as soon as it gets to that point, you got to change things, you know, because people are going to try and win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And our group's good. We got people that police each other. Like, we don't have a no spawn camping rule, but even on teams that, like, if I'm on a team and I see my teammates kind of getting to that unspoken spawn camp area, I'm like, hey, pull it back a little bit. Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, we tried a game that, like, we were just trying a brand new game. I think it was like kind of like Wingman, if you were familiar with that game, or I think they called it Slaughterhouse is what we call it. But basically, you got two guys and you can get each other up. And we've played that plenty of times before. It works. It's a solid game. Once you're both dead and tagged and everything, you're down. And then my buddy Cameron, who's like one of the subjects in the film, he's helping me work on the YouTube channel. You see him if you poke around. He's like, we should do the Borderlands rule where if you're down, you have 10 seconds to shoot somebody back up. And it was great, except we were playing in squads. And then immediately we worked with another squad and we realized, okay, we can actually res the other team by shooting them when we're down. And so it was a cool idea to use that Borderlands get people up, but we broke the game by using it, you know? No, we're not bad for that. We found out how we could win within those rule set, you know?
Yeah. We used to have a game type called Assassination, not to be confused with Assassin that some people play.
Yeah.
So we had cards that I printed out, and you were either like you had three classes. There was most of the people were bystanders, and you get the card, you wouldn't tell the people what it was, or an assassin or a target. And the whole point of the game, because we had some small games to start out with, like 10 people. You could tag people. When you tag them, you would walk up to each other and you would show each other what your card was. And if you were like an assassin, your goal was to try to become an assassin and kill a target. So if you killed somebody who was an assassin, you got to take their assassin card, and then you were trying to kill the target, and the game was over. We had people. At first, it was a lot of fun. It still is a pretty fun game type for a small group. But we just had people. People decided to just start offering protection to people. Like, hey, let's all roll up together in a group and protect the target.
I personally did not break Assassin. No. I may have contributed to its expedient demise.
So we did
offer protection.
So
sometimes you got to do it, though, and as long as it's funny, it's okay.
All of the bystanders were protecting each other, or they were protecting the target. Hey, we'll find out who the assassin is. That way we can protect them. What they didn't realize was at some point, the assassin was there with them trying to find the target. Like, let's just kill everyone. Eventually, I'll find out who the target is. But they didn't realize they were both in the same group. So we were just playing like forever. Like, what's going on?
I'm half Italian, so at some point, racketeering and Nerf was going to be a thing. Okay? I can't fight genetics. So he's actually describing it right. One game, I was like, you know what? This is stupid. I got another guy. I was like, hey, we know who the target is. We're going to protect you.
Yeah.
It was 25 cents for protection.
And you can't yell at people for doing that because it's just how they chose to play the game. But eventually it's like, okay, guys, this isn't fun anymore. Stop it.
Right. Like, you just either change the rules or just like abandon the game type.
Unfortunately, that's how Capture the Flag died. The game became a war of dart attrition.
Yeah.
So, like, there wasn't enough activity in the game. It's like we played till the captures happened, not on a timer.
Yeah.
So it just became about digging in and trying to get that one push through. The problem is, I think we had a game go, an hour?
More than that.
For one round of Capture the Flag.
That's like, I remember playing games like that in Halo back in the Xbox, like Xbox, and then it was Halo 1, and you just get stuck. People would shove the vehicles in the buildings, and it wasn't fun anymore, you know?
Yeah, that's what we've liked about having the timers and everything, and it's 15 minutes. You try to rack up as many points, as much time as possible. It promotes a lot of aggressive gameplay, where you should always be out there either defending a point or capturing a point and doing something. And there's not like this sort of, well, I should just stay back, guard my flag until they make a mistake or lose enough ammo to where we can exploit that and take the flag. Because that just sort of is what killed that game mechanic for me. It was just really.
You guys need multi-medics in your life. Like, this is the game that we play in our backyard. It started out as medics, and it's like, you all know medics. You've got like a medic who tags people up once you're down, and you kill the medic to do it. And then at the end of the night, we're like, okay, everyone's a medic, just kind of like that. We thought it was going to be this throwaway game where we're all done with it. And it worked out where everyone's a medic, and then it works out where how we normally play is you got X amount of people on each side. Everyone's a medic to start out with, and you have 2 cards. And basically, you're either a soldier or a medic. And if it doesn't cost you anything to revive people, you're just either that or the other one. And so once you get shot twice, you're just a soldier, and it kind of plays out where you can kill the entire team, or you can win by either killing the entire team, regardless how many meta cards you've got, or attrition, you're trying to kind of whittle the cards down. But where that changes and where we really like this game type is you're always in. It's kind of like Egyptian rat screw, where you can always slap back in, and you have different ways you can play it. It's not like, oh, you have 3 lives, and so don't YOLO. You can play it however you want. But there's also that moment of you're probing for weaknesses within the enemy team, working on taking the sniper down, and then all of a sudden you have to coordinate with your team and pinch on that point to end the game. So it's very different than most other games where you're just like spawning back in. When I was down in Georgia hanging out with Nam and Drac and then that group down there, well, we introduced them to that game, and it was like they're used to playing the 3:15 rule where you have 3 lives and you spawn 15 seconds. And most of the games that we play with them, like by the end of it, you've got 2 or 3 people playing the game, having a chess match, and then you've got everyone else sitting at the pavilion. Where at Thunderdome, like we're always all playing together. It's always about the team, and we don't want people sitting out. So that's why the game works really well for us.
Yeah,
that's what I like when these guys showed me how to play, because they did the respawn thing, and I'm like, all right, how many times? And they're like, no, it's unlimited. It's a time game. So you get unlimited respawns within 15 minute game time. I'm like, oh, sweet. I don't give a shit about dying.
Depends on the game, though. It really does,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I like that because I like having some people that can go out and not have to have that fear of dying or their kill-death ratio. They just go out and they're like, I'm going to go be the distraction. I'm just going to Leroy Jenkins right into the next group and try to get something. And we did that entirely as a group one time.
Yeah.
Came out. We actually yelled Leroy Jenkins, and the entire group just charged.
We got lucky. We got to go to someone else's game in a different city.
Yeah.
And we rolled up as a group, and we picked teams, and they kind of stuck us all on the same team. They're like, well,
they do that.
The Bay Area Nerf guys can go. They'll just be on their own team. We're like, all right, cool. You actually don't get to play on the same team very often as a group because we're all playing against each other. Mm-hmm. Man, that was a very bad mistake. It's like a locust horde just sweeping through games. Yeah. Because everybody knew what everyone else does.
Yeah, we're like, oh, that guy's kind of our sniper guy. This guy's really fast, so he's going to go get this. Like, we had it all planned out. Like, as soon as they were like, you're together, all right, let's do the huddle.
It was fun. It was definitely, and we were using Chinese knockoff darts on top of that, so we were shitty.
It was so bad.
That's kind of how it was. That's kind of how it was down in Georgia. Like they were used to playing that method where there was lots of lone wolves, and they definitely did work together. But we rolled up with 3 of our Thunderdome guys, and we're just used to working as teams and trying to manipulate and just kind of crunch. And I think they really did enjoy seeing the way we played versus the way they played. And by the end of the day, we were all just having these epic multi-medic battles, So it was tons of fun.
That's so awesome.
So I had a couple. There's some obligatory questions we actually have to ask, right?
Sure.
We have them on the podcast. What blaster are you excited for the most from this year's lineup that's coming out?
I'm at a point, like there was like 2 years ago where I was buying every single blaster that came out. I've got all the boxes on my wall, and I was just like, it was Vortex line, that was all the new elites, and I was just super excited about it. And like my money is so tight right now that I'm actually making a point of not even paying attention to the new stuff's coming out because it breaks my heart that I can't really buy it. And so I don't really have a good answer for you on that one. The Rivals thing, yeah, if it works, it's great, but I'm so focused on getting my movie out right now that I'm just not really looking to the future of Nerf blasters. And I wish I had a better answer for you. I just don't right now,
I'm just happy to hear that it stops. I might eventually stop buying blasters one day. That actually gives me hope. Shit.
Well, you'll hit if you're doing a lot of investing and you're just like focusing on it. Like there gets a point in time where you got to go all in, and I've been all in for the past 2 years, and it's just like I just can't afford. I do lots of thrift store stuff where I bought a Magnus today for $1.50, and then
Nice.
the other end of stuff I got a big bad bow for $1.20 or something. So I do allow myself to buy stuff like that, but I'm just not picking up the new $50 blaster that's made of red dog deck or whatever. Like it's just like I'm done buying stuff.
So would you buy a Centurion for $2?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. My line is I'll buy anything for $1 unless it's a reactor or a Maverick, and even if it's a reactor or a Maverick and I need some. I'm kind of downsizing right now, just trying to get rid of stuff. But I like to give the Mavericks to kids, just not directly to kids. Usually there's like an intermediary between. I'm being the 32-year-old guy with the Nerf arena in my backyard. Like I just don't ever talk to kids because they already think I'm that guy. I got strikes against me.
You gotta don't buy a Nerf van. That's what.
Nerf.
Yeah, I want a Nerf van, but
you're about to be 30, bro.
I know.
Like Nerf van, you can't do a Nerf van anymore.
I'm not gonna write Nerf on the side. I just want to be able to open it up and like have a pegboard of Nerf inside the van.
That's just as bad.
I know.
That doesn't even.
I know. It's gonna be like my Punisher war.
You might as well get ice cream.
My niece is 3. I've got 2 nieces, and one is 3. And I've been trying to weaponize her for a while. Like, and I asked, like, okay, how long do I have to wait to buy her Nerf stuff? And they said potty training. And so I'm just like waiting for that day where she's like super excited about it. I got her dad one last year so they could play with it together. But I'm hoping I can't wait for when she's like 9 and we can just be Nerf bros.
Oh no, 9. My nephew is 2.5. And on the last family vacation, I have pictures of him shooting a double strike.
That's great. I
load it and prime it, so we had a system. I would load and prime the blaster, give it to him, he would go shoot at me, and then we'd trade and just keep trading. And I do it I got him on video doing it.
Yeah.
I got him dressed up, in a little shama. I mean, it's crazy. We got him. His parents.
I definitely did a little bit of that when she was 2. I definitely did a little bit of that when she was 2, but like, yeah, just. There will be a day where it's no longer assisted. It's just like, hey, weird Uncle Rob, give me more Nerf stuff because I'm addicted to this, and hopefully I can push her in that direction and not be too creepy.
The single shot pullbacks.
What's that?
Half, and he can prime them.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Like not like a jolt, but like the jolt system, but on the straight pullback, not the down.
Got it. Yeah.
Those things work great for kids, even little kids.
Or you've got the heartbreaker bow with the tampon string on the tampon string in the back of there. It's a thing, but I think they did that just because, like, a baby inside the womb can pull that with the amount of pressure, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but it still sucks afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like $3. It's like a $3 pound of beef. It's a good idea because you get a lot, but then it just sucks afterwards, no matter what you do to it.
I bought one of those at a thrift store for $2.
Yeah,
I just bought it to take the little dart holder, off the top.
Oh, yeah. The thing's great. That's the best part of that whole package.
It is, man. I was surprised it was still on there. I was like, yes, $2. I could buy one of these 3D printed for like 10, 15. Like, this is sweet.
Yeah, I feel you.
So where are we at on the donation scene? How close are you to goal? And this documentary coming out?
Yeah.
Okay, I have been pushing as hard as I possibly can since the Kickstarter started. Like, I'm doing my best to get this thing to get traction. And that means like making YouTube videos every day. Like today, I say today, but that's really because yesterday and today is an overlap. Like we filmed yesterday, I edited a video, and then I edited another one all night, and then went thrifting today, and here I am doing an interview with you guys. So like I am doing my best to get it out there, but we're at like 3,000 something, and we're trying to get 8,500. And we got like 10, 9, 8 days. I don't know. I'm just like on go mode, and unless something serious changes, is like it's looking like it's not going to get there. Like I'm not too worried about it because honestly, it's not the money that's important. Although like yes, money is a vehicle in which that'll help me achieve my goals. I wanted to just get the word out about it so the Nerf community would know about it and would kind of like almost take ownership of it. So that was more important than hey, I need money to make this, but I actually do need a little bit more money to make this go quicker. So fingers crossed, like I've got plan Bs lined up if the Kickstarter doesn't get funded, but I'm just not even going to even think about it until I get to that last day. And then maybe we can have a conversation. I can tell you my backup plans, but right now it's focused on get the Kickstarter going, pre-order the DVD. Like that's I want people to buy DVDs. That's the main thing, you know.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
I wanted you to get that out there so I could, for all the people listening to this right now, or we're right now when you listen to it, get up on that and get your donations in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call on the Nerf community to not be cheap for once. I know y'all a bunch of cheap bastards and bastardettes. We need you guys to get on this bandwagon and get this man what he needs so we can get this community moving forward.
And you got some.
I won't even go that far. I would just say I want you to please go check out the Kickstarter video and the trailer. And I think if your heart is in the Nerf community and just you can see that the power that Nerf has, you're gonna relate with everything in that movie. It's just like it's kind of the thesis. It's like my memoirs almost of just like this is what I've learned about Nerf, and this is important that other people hear this message. And I really think it has the ability to save people's lives. I've seen Nerf save people's lives through in my friend group, and for me, like it just brought me out of such a dark place. And I want other people to have that opportunity through starting other Nerf clubs and even just telling our story, you know?
Oh, heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. That's what one of the things when we first saw it was like, oh, this is so awesome because this is what, you know, we tell people on a small scale with friends and stuff like, oh, it's a great, you know, it's fun. It's a great way to stay in shape, but you get out there. And it lifts your spirit. It gives you something to look forward to. You know, I know so many people that are like, "Oh man, I can't wait this month's Nerf game. Like, when is it gonna be?" The end of a game, they'll be like, "When is the next game? When is the next game?" So it's just awesome having people come together over the hobby. It was one of the coolest feelings when we started having games and opening up to the public. When you know, we just had people chilling, eating pizza, talking about, you know, oh, what is that blaster? Oh, what did you do to mod it? Oh, you should get together. Come to my house. We'll do it. And then suddenly there's two people that like didn't know each other that day, like earlier that day, that are now getting together. Like, oh, we have a mod day set that we're gonna go and build this stuff together. That's friggin' awesome, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's how I met Cameron. Is like I started hanging out with this group and I didn't really know anyone up there, and he just posted a Facebook event like, "Hey, I'm gonna do a mod day," and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm already modding stuff. I'm already doing my own stuff," and so I showed up and we ended up hanging out. And it was, you know, a little bit weird at first, but before you know it, we're like helping each other. We're helping filing barrels and just doing stuff. And then 2 weeks later, like we were just hanging out all the time. It's just like there's ways you can become friends with people that take a while, and Nerf is just like you're like that. Like HVZ, you're instantly hooked. It's just such an intimate thing, you know.
It really is. It's funny because people that I know, not just through Nerf, but people that I knew before I started doing Nerf. I remember we just sort of casually invited someone that I was like, oh yeah, you know, they seem like someone that might be interested in it. I've known this person for a couple of years, and they like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of Nerf guns, and they came and they brought a ton of stuff, and now like I know that person really well, but I've known them for years, and they were just sort of like, oh yeah, they're more of an acquaintance. They're like a friend of a friend. I sort of know them. And now, like after every Nerf game, like we're there until at the pizza place outside until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yes, you guys are
just hanging out, talking about stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
My wife will kill me.
I posted a video on YouTube. I posted a video on YouTube the other night, and it's like I was just cycling through digging for assets for like a bigger composition, and I found this segment from an interview, from just my raw interview from during Thunderdome, and it really just hit me enough where I just uploaded that individual quote, and it was just like, I really feel like people my age have stopped having fun. They don't even know how to have fun anymore. Like we have this where they go to designated fun activities like baseball games, go out to the bar, but it's not like the fun we used to have as kids. And I think it's definitely something that reignites that fire in us when we just run. You can just run around and chase people, and it's like that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're like a bunch of dogs in the yard playing around and wrestling, and it doesn't matter why. It's just important that you're doing it, you know?
No, exactly.
I'm going to blame your generation for the decline in fun.
My generation.
You've given me something. You guys are like 2 years apart. Same generation, bro.
Oh,
your generation killed fun. My generation was the last fun generation.
This is I don't know, how old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking? Like we don't have to be girls about it, you know?
I'll be 30 in like 2 weeks.
Got it.
I will be 37 this summer.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm 32, and I'm like on that right on that line. It's like Generation X is like a little bit too far away, and the millennials are just like not me. And so like I have both of the things from like the Gen Xers and the millennials, but I don't fit into either one of them. And yeah, I think the millennials, it's just like I don't think they maybe really know how to have fun because they're always on their damn phones. It's like the computer generation. And you're 37, so you remember what it's like to run around in the neighborhood and just kick cans and just
oh yeah,
persimmons at each other, just make up stupid games, and I just don't think that's happening anymore.
It's weird, it's weird for me because I meet so many people that didn't play sports, right? And I'm not saying like you were in a little league or something, but I mean I spent probably 7 summers, and all we did from when we got out of school till afterwards, we go to the hoop court, we play basketball, we play horse.
Street hockey, man, that was my jam.
Huh?
Street hockey. I love me some street hockey.
Yeah,
Tennis, all tennis.
We were out doing something until it got dark.
Yeah.
Right? And we had video. I mean, I had video games. Like I didn't grow up on video games. I had tons of video games. But given the choice between, hey, let's go hoop from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, or play video games all day, and that's what rain and snow are for, dude. We go play. We're going to hoop.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we play, Dungeons and Dragons. We play basketball, then play Dungeons and Dragons. I lived a very interesting life.
See, I'm jealous. I wish that I could have had that growing up. I was like, my parents were super strict, so it was me and my brothers. We would just be outside doing our own thing. But we weren't allowed to go like far away from the house. We couldn't go to like the park or anything without our parental supervision. So,
brothers.
Awkward.
Which was cool. That was definitely helpful. But I mean, I think we're all very social and like to get out there and hang with our friends now. Even though we're getting to that older point in our life where a lot of people are just like, yeah, we're just gonna hang or maybe like go to the bar or whatever. We're like, oh, let's go out and do something. Let's go out and let's go play this. Let's go run around. Like us getting kicked out of a school, and I was like early mid-20s. We got kicked out of school for playing tag in a school. No one was there. Nobody was at the school. We were literally just a bunch of adults running around playing tag, and somebody called the cops, and the cops were like, you can't be here. We're like, we're playing tag, dude. Like, yeah, but why are you? We don't believe you. You're adults playing tag. That's just not right. We're like, why? There's so much. We're playing hide and seek and tag and a bunch of stuff.
I don't know what it is, but like you hit a certain age, and I think it's like after college. I don't necessarily know if it's about age. It's about kind of stage of life that you're in. And once you're done with college, you kind of start working. Maybe you get married. Maybe you do your thing, but you settle in and you look for excuses to not go out and do stuff. Maybe you're just resting from your early 20s and you're like, oh, that's not for me anymore. And before you know it, you're just doing the same thing every day. And that's always been something I've been kind of not afraid of because I'm always evolving, but it's something I actively to try not to become. If I get bored with something, I just completely reinvent myself and try something new, But it's been this Nerf thing in movies for a while.
Dude, I feel it. I hate being like stagnant. Like I always want to have something that I'm doing. Like I'm always working on projects for like costumes or preparing to do like go to a convention or go to like a Ren fair. Like there's weird little things that I do. And then Nerf has just been part of that. Like it's just tacked on to like I used to do airsoft and now I'm doing this. I always like to have sort of a hobby or something that I'm doing and out there with people.
Yeah, sucking people into it.
That's true. I do like to get as many people as I know so that I can enjoy it with them and have something to talk about.
No. Other people enjoy it. I got sucked in on the hard sell. There's a podcast. Seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
You said you grew up in a hunting household, man. Like that was what got me for a long time. Like I was a duck hunter for like 10 years, and I still would consider myself a duck hunter. If you kind of poke around my room, you'll see a bunch of mounts of just like snow geese and wood ducks and stuff. But it's something that like I had that passion for, and then I started playing Nerf, and I think that's when I really started shifting over to it. There are some things that happen along the hunting thing, but you fall in love with something, and then I really think Nerf, of all the things to fall in love with, is a really positive thing to fall in love with that can change your life. It's not like, I think the point of video games too is like they're awesome, and if you showed video games to people 100 years ago, it'd be like, that is magic, and I want to play that all the time. And we do want to play it all the time. We just like, there's so many cool things in our world now. We have to kind of cycle them back and do the things that are more important, which is people,
Oh, for sure.
That's true.
It gets you, you're active, you're out, you're social, you're creative, thinking of game types or modding blasters. It gets you like critically thinking about, how are we going to beat this other team? What are we going to do? There's so many different facets to it. Like you can come in from many different angles, and we've seen that with a lot of different people at our games where we'll have people sort of attack, just Nerf as a general hobby from different angles. There's some people that want to get the most out of their blasters. They just want to shoot something far. And there's some people that want something to be accurate. There's some people that are like, I don't care about any of that. I just want to run around.
Yeah.
My brothers they literally will take a jolt and run around tagging people with one jolt. That's it. That's all they do.
Yeah, we got some people like that. Even during HVZ, we got a couple people who don't run anything. Maybe they run one sock in their pocket and they're just trying to complete objectives. But they run with people. They run with Speed Squad and they'll cover them. And if they got to book it, they just get out of there. So it totally makes sense.
Yeah. I love that people can go out and do be different people on the field. That's what makes Nerf a lot of fun for me is you can just come in and play to your strengths.
Yeah.
We always tell people that because I was like, what's the best Nerf gun? Everybody always asks that question in Nerf. I'm always like, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Totally.
Want to do this? You know, what games are you playing? There's a ton of different stuff, and they're all viable. You know.
Yeah. Well, before I forget, I want to tell you about this game type we invented last week. Usually, it'll cycle where we get a bunch of new people during certain games, and we won't try new game types for that. But if it's just maybe 8 to 10 regulars at the beginning of the night or the end of the night, we'll just all sit around the fire and say, let's think up a game, let's try it out. And then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We called the game Troll Lord one time, where we had a guy in the center sniper tower where it was his job to troll everyone on the field. He wasn't on a team, he was his own team. And we played it for 10 times and had fun, but we're never doing it again. But just this last time we played, we were thinking of what we could do, and I was like, what do I have in my shed that I can use? And like I said, I was a duck hunter, so I just went in the shed and I grabbed a dozen duck decoys, and I was like, we should play a game where we collect these. And there's a center building that kind of looks like an outhouse. We call it the outhouse. And so we put all the ducks in there, and we had 2 teams, and we're like, okay, there's 12 ducks out there. You have to go in and grab 7 of them to win. And we played it, and it was tons of fun, and we kind of modified it a little bit where it turned out where the final rules we settled on were you run up, you have to pull a duck out of the pond, which is the outhouse, and you have to drop it back on your base, and then it has to be accessible for the other team to grab. Have you ever played Diddy Kong Racing before?
Yes.
So Diddy Kong Racing on the lava level with the volcanoes where you steal each other's eggs and stuff and you bring it back to your nest. That's what the game is, because you have to be able to access your other team's eggs, and you have to get 8 out of the 12. So you're constantly going back and forth, and it's we call it Duck Hunt, and it's the funnest game. It's the most I've been excited about a new game type in a long time, and I think we'll end up playing it a whole lot more.
I like that. We might have to try to figure out how to make that work on our field. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think you could do it just about anything, but I had ducks, so I used ducks.
Of course, yeah. I mean, eggs, whatever you want. But that sounds like fun.
I want ducks.
All right, ducks.
I either want ducks or inflatable pigs. I want to see Arjang running with a ham hock underneath his arms, that would be hilarious. All of us big guys are going to get yelled at for running with pigs underneath them. That's how it works.
It even depends. If you had a bunch of people and you did have something large like that, that actually would be really fun if it was so big that you could only haul it with one person and you had to have escort. The sky's the limit. The ducks worked really well, but you could only have one at a time, and that kind of leveled the playing field a little bit more,
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of a Chinese festival dragon costume.
What?
Yeah, 5 people got to get in. You got to run that thing across the field.
Awesome. Yeah, I love just sitting around talking to people, coming up with interesting game types or rules and stuff, and just sort of then perfecting it all. You know what I mean? Getting it really, the rules tightened up, figuring out what works and what doesn't. That is something that I enjoy. I enjoy obviously playing and stuff, but I know a lot of people I don't want to think about the logistics of what works and what doesn't. I love doing that. I
appreciate you for that. I like playing all the stuff that you do, but I don't give a rat's ass about that stuff.
I love that aha moment. You've tried a game out. First game, maybe it's a little bit rough. You're like, okay, I see some potential here. But maybe the second or third time you've run it, and you've kind of made a couple tweaks to it, and you've manipulated those variables, and you're just like, that is the fun that I'm looking for. Where you just fix it just enough where it works, and you might need a couple more things shifted, but you're like, okay, this is how we should play this. And it's always fun when it actually works out. And even when it doesn't, you get a game like Troll Lord where we still laugh about it to this day. Hey, you remember that one time we had a guy in the tower and he yelled Troll Lord for 20 minutes?
That's hats for us. We had a game type that me and Sean spent 2 days. Oh, no, it was it was 2 or 3 days. We went on this, we went to Tough Mudder in Tahoe. And he went as a spectator, and I went with someone who participated in it. And on the way back, we were talking about like, oh, how do we make Team Fortress 2 with Nerf? Like, how do we do this? So we invented types for everybody. Like, there's a person who only one person can pick up darts on a team. One person has like a shorter respawn time. One person's a medic. And all these things. We're like, how do you know who's who? So we went and we bought different hats for each person on the team. They have this hat. The person who's like a soldier, they have this hat.
Did you hand out a sheet of paper that told everybody what they
There's
were?
only like 4. There's only 4 per team. So it was pretty easy. We only had like 8 people.
I don't remember all your dark times.
Yeah. It was, I had a ton of fun with it. And there were a couple of people that enjoyed it. And I think they thought there was a lot of potential. A lot of people just showed up and they were like, I just want to shoot. So there's too much thinking involved. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it totally failed. And now, like, we always will bring it up and we'll talk about it like, oh, remember hats? Like,
yeah, that's our true lord. Yeah.
Like, oh, remember we had this one class that could do this? And then we talk about adding a rule like that. And our goal is eventually we're going to, like, unveil, like, pull the wool off of all our players' eyes and be like, you've been playing hats this whole time. We introduced you to all of the classes individually, and now you can just play.
Have you guys ever run into a situation where you tell someone you play Nerf and they have the response of, do you guys even have rules or you just run around and shoot each other? It's like, it blows my mind that they think that I spend this much time just playing grab ass and just shooting with no rules. Like, we just stand around just shooting. Like, the rules are going to get developed eventually, and we're going to end up with games like hats and end up with games like Troll Lord. And I think that's a really good thing that we have the flexibility to just go crazy with it and try it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I have a go-to video when I say I play Nerf. They're like, huh? I just show them a video clip that I made, like a trailer, and they're like, oh, shit, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll get them to come to like one game, and they're like, wow, that's really fun. I'm like, I told you.
I love getting those new people that it's not what they expected. Because we get that too, where it's like, oh, like Nerf. That was him, actually.
That was me.
He was like, so what do y'all do with Nerf gun? Like, you just kind of shoot each other and run around? I'm like,
yeah.
So
nah.
I owned a game.
Wave runner face, like they're just having the best time they've ever had in their life because they got a $6 piece of plastic.
I just became friends with this guy, and he would disappear in the summer times because we have another hobby we're into that we cross. You know, that's how we met each other. And summertime, he would stop showing up to games, and I'm like, where the hell is Josh? And then he was like, oh, I play Nerf. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
There's no information found.
Okay. And then so what happened was I used to co-own a game shop, and it would be kind of, after work, we closed at like 7 o'clock, whatever. He actually brought his cohorts in all their blasters, and we set up a field using our cars in the parking lot.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row. And
then
on the second week, I just handed him money. I was like, go buy me everything.
He did. He bought like 3 stripes one day. I don't even know what you were going to do with 3, but he's like, I want them. I want the stripes. Oh, give me that one.
Then I started researching mods, and then I started showing up to the real games. Like, I started paying this other guy to watch my store. Like, oh, you're a good customer here. Just watch my store for this Saturday. I'll pay you to go check out this Nerf thing. And then after that, it was a wrap. I think I missed a game. I think I've missed a game in 3 seasons.
I don't think you have.
I planned family trips around this thing.
He does.
I think it's really interesting that you jumped into the game at the elite stage of it, because it's really, there was just this huge shift once the Rampage and the Hailfire came out, and it's like a whole different animal now. Like, before that, there was kind of the haves and the have-nots, and even before, like, I was seriously into HVZ. Like, I've heard it was even worse with, you had a Maverick, and then when the Raiders came out, that was game-changing. But now we have like something that's, it's not airsoft, it's not paintball, but you can almost attempt the same things with it. It's not like shooting each other from 15, 20 feet around now. You're really working upper distances, and I think it was fine for campuses before, but I think it's much more than that now. Yeah. So that's crazy. You started at the elite, and you never had to really go through that. If I don't mod this, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset about it. Obviously, so, I'm kind of, they're telling me about it, and I'm like,
we tell him tales of like season 1. We had people with yellow blasters, and we started out and we were like, hey, we can't bring any modded stuff because we got to get people who are new into this feeling like they could just go buy something and play the game. So we had that. We finally started getting upwards of like 10, 15, 20 people, and we're like, okay, cool. one person brought a modded blaster. Finally, like we just busted out, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is like isn't even fair."
Yeah.
Holy crap! Then then Flywheels hit the scene. The Raven came out, and that just blew people's minds. It was like I could get 2 Ravens and just fire all with 2 hands. This is crazy. And I don't even have to prime.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys survive.
It was nuts. Then suddenly there was barricades, and there was the mod where you could add a clip to a barricade, and it just started going crazy. And then I remember specifically when Elite hit, because one of our friends before our game, we were talking about it. We're like, oh man, I can't wait for this Elite stuff to come out. It looks so cool. It's blue, and he just showed up with one, and we're like, dude, where'd you get? He's like, I just went to Toys R Us on my way to the game. On my way. And he's like, I thought you guys knew like that they were out. We're like, they're not. They're not out for like 2 or 3 more months. Like this Toys R Us just put them out early. Like they got a bunch and they just, oh, it's a Nerf thing. It goes on the shelf.
Like the crossbow.
Yeah, but it was the only one. So he was like, we were just like, yeah, he has the blue. The blue is here. It was awesome. And then the next thing we did, everybody owned them, and we went to the only NIC war that we've been to, and everybody was running like these super crazy glue domes and things like that, and we just rolled in like we don't care. You can have all the glue domes you need, but we know how all of each other work. It was like he said, like we came in like, oh, I know what you do, I know what you do. You got a Hailfire, so these guys are all screwed. Hailfire was like uncharted territory at the time.
That's great.
Screw the Hellfire. Screw that blaster.
Oh, no love.
You said screw the Hailfire. Is that what you said?
It is. It's like the most underappreciated, awesome blaster. That's a piece of crap that Nerf's ever produced. Because like, it does what it's supposed to do, and it does it really well. It just looks like shit doing it.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Hailfire more than I like the Hailfire. I'm definitely a Springer guy, and I had the Hailfire during HVZ, and it just was cold, and so it froze up on me, and so I just won't use electronic guns. But the idea that we're going to have this rotating carousel with all these mags, like when I heard that, I was like, that's pretty ballsy, Nerf, to go that route. And if they pulled off half of what they were trying to do, it would still be awesome. But it's just, most people around here ended up gluing the turret and just using it as ammo stock, where they made a Strife before the Strife came out, essentially,
Right.
Yeah, so it's weird. We've had it show up to a couple games. Mm-hmm. Every time it comes on the field, it does work.
Yeah.
It will lock down a third of the field by itself with one dude.
Oh, yeah.
Right, putting 12s in it or 18s. But nobody runs them, and now it's past its prime, so you can't even find them anymore. I just sold one at the last game. I refuse to use it. So I started out as a flywheel guy, and now I have fully converted to Springers. I'll play my Straven once in a blue moon, film stuff, because it's easy to film on flywheels. But I revived the Rampage for our group. The Rampage was dead.
Yeah.
Dude, I took it one step further. Like I went from the battery ones aren't reliable, so I'm gonna be a Springer guy. And now I'm at a point where I don't even use magazine blasters anymore. Like my primary loadout is I run a Ravonix 360 for HVZ, and my reason is I call it the never empty class, because I run 2 Sweet Revenges. Now I do a 4 Victory and the Ravonix, and so I'm always topping it off. I've got a bag of like 200 discs, and so like where normally you're gonna die on your reloads, I'm always topping off. I'm always able to shoot. And those magazines for the Nerf blasters, like there's inconsistencies to them, and so I just don't mess with them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, but I'm just like I've been killed too many times because my magazine jammed up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I love when I came to these guys, they said the Rampage was dead. They would never use it. It sucks. It's the worst blaster ever. A couple mods and some other things later, I reconverted him back to it.
2 years later, and a mod that keeps it from jamming. That's like saying you found a wait. Hold on. If you told me you could get the Centurion to start loading reliably and firing reliably by cutting like a couple of things, yeah, I might change that too.
You can light it on fire reliably. That's about it.
I remember everybody was doing the caliber conversion kits.
Oh,
and they were expensive. The problem is, it looks so awesome, and how could they screw it up so badly?
Yeah.
I never even saw anyone micro that thing because, like, even if you micro it, it's still going to explode. So I'm sure it would be awesome. Like the Cyclone Shocks, I got a few buddies who do CPVC down to that, and they rip. Like those are our new kind of pocket sniper rifles around here. But yeah, that Centurion, like it was just too complicated for its own good. Do you know if the blue ones they put out, have they fixed all the issues, or is it still like
So allegedly, the second run forward on those, even on the red ones, doesn't have any of the problems. So they doesn't shoot darts. They don't jam up. They supposedly fixed all that stuff.
There's a version 2 magazine.
The problem is it still fires like it's still shit. It's reverse plunging. So, but a place overseas did a caliber conversion for it, and it was firing really like well over 100 feet, no problem with elite darts in it.
So I think I got to fix your problem. So you get a Mega Centurion, and you take 2 Rampages and glue them to it, and then duct tape it around, and then you have a sweet blaster that looks cool, and it actually works as well. So
yes.
So,
Oh.
it's funny. I got everyone back into Rampages, and now I've moved on to a Retaliator.
You can't get them anymore.
Huh?
You can't get Rampages anymore. It's like I'm sure there's some places, but like like that's what I was pushing for HVZ. I was like, what blaster should I get? Oh, go get a Rampage because that's been the answer for the past 2-3 years, and everyone can't find them. So yeah, the Retaliators, they're great.
It's weird. I rolled into a Kmart in Lake Tahoe, which is like the ski resort area over here, and freaking this random ass Kmart, they got a whole shelf full of Rampages.
I still don't know if I'd stock up on it. Like a lot of people, even just to get the 25 drums are totally worth it, as long as they're not like Toys R Us, like buy one get one free prices where it's like $60 or something.
At $30 the blaster, I'd rather go on eBay, spend 20, get 2.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the thing is with the Retaliator, if you spend $30 and get a shotgun kit for it to underprime it works the same as a Rampage, if not better, because you don't have to worry the magazine flipping out. So.
We're ignoring the one that we need to be talking about is the EAT, the Alpha Trooper. Like, have you guys played with those at all?
Oh, that was my baby.
Yeah.
$5 over here.
Yeah, so when they had the film for $5 at Target because they were clearancing out the originals,
Nice.
we bought 24, 27.
The EATs or the Alpha Troopers?
The EATs. So at Target had they were clearancing out the original Alpha Troopers for $5. The Elite Alpha Troopers came in, but they had the same DPCI in their system. So they would bring up for $5.
I totally would have snapped that stuff up.
So what we did for that entire season to help with the dart rental thing and get more darts in, we would do raffles where you could just buy raffle tickets and you could win stuff. And we were like, this will be great because as long as we make $5, we're coming out even.
Yeah.
Or can just go to darts.
I bet you we have those now.
Oh yeah, people were getting sick of it. Like our raffles, people were like, I don't even. I ain't
back in.
Yeah, I already have an Elite Alpha Trooper. Every time you raffle, it's Elite Alpha Trooper. I'm not going to buy any tickets. Now I'm like, see, y'all wish you had it. We gave them all away to people that were like new, stuff like that. We're just like, yeah, Alpha Trooper is cool. They're going to be around forever. So,
they weren't the unicorn, and that's usually how it works. Like I remember playing with crossbows when we were kids, and it was before people were really modding. You might have stuck rubber bands on your on your sharpshooter, but I remember like taking this crossbow and throwing it and just being a dick with the thing. And now I look back, I'm like, oh, that crossbow, I wish he still had that, but it probably got thrown in the trash because it's just like you don't know, you have no idea what's going to be desired later because you have no idea what's coming.
Oh
yeah, I think the EATs never got back to America because of Target screw up.
Yeah.
Very possible.
And Target was like, "Oh, these weren't profitable because of this, because of him."
I think they'll be back. Honestly,
he was house sitting for me when this whole thing went down. I was out of town, and I come back, and of course I'm on the internet. I'm like, "Oh, these things are fine." What? Crazy Target? They'll fix it in like a day.
Yeah.
I come back, and my whole front porch is Elite Alpha Troopers.
Man, buy, sell, trade. They're probably just drooling right now. Like, and you guys don't have any of them left, or you kept one of them, or what?
I have one that I'll never use because I don't think it's comfortable for me. I have one, and you kept a couple too.
I have the one that I play with all the time, and one that I had just in case it ever broke and I needed parts. That's it. Yeah. The rest we gave them away. They
raffled them all off.
We're like $5, man. Like, here you go. We sold them to people. Like, here, we'll sell them to you for the same $5 we got them for. We're just trying to build the community. And now it's like, oh man, those things. But hey, it's cool. People got them. We saw a ton of use with them. People have started to move on back to stripes and
Rapid strikes.
rapid strikes.
God.
Rapid strikes are big.
Rapid strikes.
A lot of people run demolishers now, like, and it totally makes sense. Like, we build our games around where there's like special infected, and I know that's pretty common, but rockets definitely matter in our games where some things can only be killed by rockets or only can be killed by socks. And so having that strife with the rocket launcher, and I think the demolisher, I haven't cracked one, but I think they got a little bit bigger motors in the stripes. Am I correct in that?
Slightly, it's either they're bigger or they're closer together, so they kick the dart out a little bit better.
Yeah.
But we have a guy that actually wrote the core players' names on it on the rockets. So every time he tags someone out, he crosses the name off. He's got like a hit list for his rockets.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
But demolishers actually, they're pretty prevalent. I think it's like 3 or 4 people run them. I mean, the cool thing is playing where we play, everyone's kind of lays their stuff out. So you'll see people switch loadouts game to game. Like they'll run a demolisher one game, switch to the retaliator, and then switch to something else they want to run. So in between rounds, people are just switching their whole loadout.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. It just depends on which game. Like Thunderdome, it's usually traditional. Like you have your Thunderdome loadout, and it's usually what most people run is hammer shots, sweet revenges.
Woohoo!
The house gear is big bad bows, and I have like 20 to 25 modified big bad bows, which are just singled down. And I've been doing maintenance on them for the past, I guess we're coming up on 3 years now, where I just like if a back end snaps off of one, I'll change the guts out, and I have my custom barrels that I like to do, so I'll just change the barrel out. And hell, I picked up a big bad bow for like a buck something today. And that was it's going in my big bad bow parts box because I treat it like it's like fixing and servicing paintball gear at this point,
Oh yeah,
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear everyone runs hammer shots and sweet revenges.
Yeah. I like Sweet Revenges a little bit more, but that's my own preference to it. Neither one's wrong.
Oh yeah, exactly. I kind of hear Hammer Shot or Sweet Revenge. It sort of is like encompassing of both. Almost all Hammer Blasters at this point, like the 4 Victory. It's all like, yeah, that's all Hammer Blasters.
4 Victory poops darts out.
Oh yeah, you did buy
It
one.
is inferior to all other hammer blasters because it shits out darts.
I don't know. Is that just yours? Both of them.
No, I bought 2 4 Victories and they both poop out darts. So screw Hasbro.
It's that smart AR. Mine does it a little bit. I've got one that Drac modded for me, and yeah, every once in a while you get the bottom one to kick out, but it's just picky about darts a little bit more than other things would be. But I still have had really good luck with it. He put a spring in it that's just got such punch to it. So whatever dart poop I got on the other 3, it ends people's days.
I love the hammer shot's probably my favorite aesthetic. It's my favorite blaster Nerf's ever made that I've got to play with. And now I find myself doing more Sweet Revenges for mods. They're so easy to paint.
Yeah.
Like they're the easiest thing to paint in the world.
Let me grab
Filter.
I was just like 6 feet away from my my Sweet Revenge and my 4 Victory, but yeah, this is Summer's Eve.
Nice.
This is a blaster that Drac did for me, and it's you said they're really easy to paint, but he does a whole bunch of sand down work and stuff. So if you look at it, I don't know how much you can see it, but it's just super smooth and pretty.
Yeah.
And then Draculina did all this stuff right here. So man, it's just, and then he did this leather wrap on here too. So before I ran stock SRs, and I'm told my mod guide for Sweet Revenges is cut it out of the package and use it because it's awesome. But this is it takes a step further because it's awesome, and this is awesome squared, So that's
Sweet Revenges. If you're into painting, they're the best thing to paint. They're easy to sand because they're all smooth. Hammer shot's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, there's a lot of geometry. And then this is Tropicaea. This is not one he modded for me, but this is one I went and played with him and I just fell in love with it. But yeah, it's 4 Victory, and the spring on this thing it's just it's got some heat to it where the Sweet Revenge my thumb won't get tired. I could do it 1,000 times. A stock one, and these ones it starts to get tired after maybe 200 rounds or something like that, and I think that's a good sign, but very pretty blaster. I've fallen in love with these two. I stack these in my holster, and these are usually my primaries, and then I'll pull out a sniper rifle for when I'm in the tower,
Nice.
Yeah, I actually think I switched out my hammer shots. They started messing up. I switched to 2 have you seen the 5x5? They're the Sweet Revenges, but the hammer and the trigger are blue.
It's essentially, it's got that same kind of blue color to it, like that.
Yeah.
I switched to those. I painted them in a red, silver, and blue motif but like reverse colors in either one, and I call them Abe and George.
You call it what, Abe and George?
Abe and George because they're red, white, and blue.
Oh, God. I missed the setup to the joke, so the punchline didn't make any sense to me, but now I get it. Google Hangouts for life.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, we just tried to use Google Hangouts to stream our last game live.
Yeah.
And realized how shit it was. We actually went to Ustream instead. We actually streamed our last game live while we were playing it.
I've had some requests for that on my I'm like turbo building my YouTube page where I'm like editing a video like every day or every other day, and just I'm trying to build a library in 3 months so I can like make some grocery money off of that. But
Nice.
it's to get the word out too, but it's like a lot really quick. And there was a comment on there. It's like, oh, you should live stream your game, and I'm thinking about doing it, but it's like not really interesting. I'd rather people just come out. But you know, if you guys like to be in Thunderdome, it might just be interesting just to put my camera on the roof and let it run. But I don't know. Did anyone watch your stream on that? Like your
Oh no.
yeah. That's the experience I've had with streaming weird stuff. Is like we're gonna stream our video games tonight, and like you have like your mom, and then like the one dude who's from high school who's just bored on there, and you're happy to have that dude on your stream. You know.
Once people found out it wasn't on YouTube, they were like, "Oh, screw this." The problem is YouTube won't let you stream in high enough quality for a Nerf game.
Looks terrible.
But we're not going to
You can't
get.
even see the darts. It really just looks like people
Yeah.
are around.
That's the issue. You know, that's the issue we're having.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you put up a lot of gameplay footage, you'll probably do really well for your YouTube channel. We kind of discovered last game. Kodak makes these little action cameras. They're square.
Yeah.
They have magnets on them, so you can stick them to shit.
Mm-hmm.
They record in 5-minute bursts, so it chops the video into 5-minute pieces to make it manageable.
Yeah.
And they're freaking awesome. You stick them somewhere, let them record, forget about them.
I like that idea, but I'm kind of at a point where I've been doing the video thing for too long, and so like as much as I'd like to get like that sounds like really interesting footage, but I'm just getting really picky about it. I don't know if you've seen how much of my stuff you've seen, but I had my full film crew come down for this last HVZ, and my buddy, he proposed to his girlfriend on the final mission on top of the parking garage after this whole epic battle. She was the OZ, and he was a human that survived up until the very end, and he had this whole thing planned out. And so I have this, my buddy's running this Movi rig. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's got a DSLR on it, and it's basically just like a camera on a gimbal that you can run through a field and it will stabilize it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a ghost is filming it. And for the proposal shot, like the thing was, he's like, oh, we're gonna have a final duel just between the OZ and this guy, and he ended up she ran at him, and he dropped on one knee and proposed to her. And as it happens, this Movi shot just circles completely around and just gets this priceless shot. It's actually up on Drax's channel right now. If you check it out, man, it's like Nerf proposal. It's incredible. Like the footage I got from that entire HVZ is just like, I could make Nerf videos. I'm planning on making Nerf videos for the next like few years, but I just have backlog footage for like 2 or 3 years of just like where I've been filming, getting ready for this movie. Now the movie's kind of getting close to done, and I still have all this footage that I really want to tell all of our stories with, you know?
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we had one of our buddies has come out, and he's filmed. He plays as well, but he has come out and just exclusively filmed a couple of times, and it totally beats any footage that we have with like head cams or just putting something up and kind of catching the whole thing. Because I mean, he does the same. He'll get in there, get around people, and get people running towards him, and it's awesome. It definitely, if you can afford to be picky with footage, it's definitely the way to go. Throwing a camera up is fun. We have a couple where we're just trying different things because you know, he would rather come out and play than be filming all the time, and you know, we don't want him to feel obligated to do that. But it's awesome when he does, if he gets out there and gets those really awesome shots like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, a lot of it's what you do with it too, though, because like I've seen some people film footage and then you just get this 20-minute clip and you know it's awesome and like 3 people will enjoy that. But even like this video I edited last night, or that I've been editing for the last few weeks, is you take all this footage and you have to hunt for it and you have to find a way to tell that story. And sometimes it's easier than others when it's like an HVZ mission. It's like, okay, here's the beginning and here's how it progressed and here's how it ended. But sometimes it's just like random bunch of stuff that you're trying to present that in a way that people can watch it, digest it, and not be bored.
right.
So that 20-minute awesome clip like is awesome for 4 people, but if you spend 12 hours making it into this masterpiece, then 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 can enjoy that. So I think it's more about the editing process. Even if you can get good footage, then you have to know how to convert it into something great, you know?
Right. Oh, for sure. For sure. It's all about getting not only decent shots so that people can tell what's going on. It's not just, I mean, you know, you watch football and it's not all overhead cams, right, of the entire field. And like you said, making it so there's not that lull, because I've seen that where people just have, here's raw footage from me all day doing stuff, and it's cool, but a lot of times you just like start skipping around, like, all right, this is boring. What's exciting? Take me doing some exciting highlights that happened. I don't want to see you respawning for, you know, a minute or hiding from zombies this entire time. You know, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
You can go the other direction too, and it's kind of like a porno if you go the other direction with it, where it's just like it's a list of all the exciting things that happens, and you know, maybe someone's got drowning pool playing in the background with Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, and just like every YouTube video you saw in 2007.
Yes.
And it can just be completely overwhelming. So there has to be substance and story to it, and you kind of have to have that balance to it. And I'm really trying to chase for that, is like good content that's not just there, you know, like I'm trying to have purposes to everything that I'm putting up right now, you know. Yeah,
for sure, man, for sure. Well, dang, we've been at this for a little while, man. We should let you hit it.
Hashtag Nerf, bro. I knew we'd just be talking, and it just like, you know, you meet a Nerf friend, it doesn't matter where they're from, what kind of person they are, like your buddies instantly if you just start talking about shooting each other with foam, you know.
That's probably one of my favorite things about doing the podcast, is just having other guests on and just like boom, instantly, like, yeah, we've got something in common. We just start talking about it, and you just go.
Internet high five! Boom! Totally great to meet you guys.
Dude, well, it was great having you on. Why don't you tell all the listeners everything, like where you can go to do stuff, the Kickstarter, any URLs you got, YouTube, pimp it all out.
Great. Okay, well, the easiest place to find me is facebook.com/Thunderdome Doc. I think it might be groups. Just search Thunderdome Doc. That's something. And then on YouTube, I'm youtube.com/C/Thunderdome Doc. And that's where you can find everything. I've got a Kickstarter. Just type Thunderdome in Kickstarter. There's a hard link for it, but I can't like pull it out of my brain and letters and numbers. But yeah.
We'll throw it in the description when this goes up, for sure.
Cool, yeah. Type Thunderdome in Kickstarter or click on the description. And the first thing you should watch is a Kickstarter video, because it goes through all my goals for it, tells my story. And then I would say click on the YouTube link if you can find it and watch the trailer for the film, because that's going to be like what to expect with the film. And also there's a bunch of awesome videos. Like there's some great HVZ, I feel like my channel's at the point after the past like few weeks of editing where there's some really excellent stuff on there that's totally worth watching if you like Nerf. And there's also an excerpt from the film that you can watch, and you can kind of get a feel for what it's going to be like. But a lot of the content on the channel right now is footage from HVZ, is footage from Thunderdome and my life from my first movie. So I'm making a big series of library of my movies and my life. Thunderdome, the documentary, is just a very focused, this is the telling of the story of that. And that should be in film festivals. We're hoping this fall. I toured my first movie around the country for a few years, and we're still actively doing that. And so my goal is to tour it around the country at universities. And when I go to a school, if it doesn't have an HVZ club or a Nerf club, I want to do everything in my power to find a student that wants to start a club and then help them do that by helping them work with their administration. If I'm at a point where I can sponsor them financially, I absolutely will. I'm going to be making a video soon here of how to start your own Nerf group, and it would totally be great to get your input on that too, because like there's a lot of things you need to know what to do and then things to not do as well. So I think it's important to just like, if there is a desire, like if I'm lucky enough to get someone to watch one of my videos or see my movie or something, I want to have the stuff in place where they can be like, okay, what now? Oh, that's what I do now. And then they can have a Nerf club, you know? So
yeah,
it's exactly. You just got to start shooting foam at people and then make a Facebook group, and people will come play with you if you're having fun.
That's the number one thing we always tell people. How do you start? How do you advertise? How do you promote? Dude, just if you build it, they will come.
Totally. That's what I was saying the entire process. I was just like hoping they would. And anytime you're doing something fun, like people will flock to it, you know. Yeah. And just don't be a douchebag, and don't let douchebags in, because like you got to surround yourself by positive people that are doing stuff. and because it's contagious. But sitting on the couch, just sitting on your ass, like that's contagious too. And it's just you can pull those people off the couch, but don't let them drag you down.
For sure. Well, thanks, man. We totally appreciate being on here. It was like an honor to have you on this, man. Getting like the first real like Nerf documentary out there, and just, your entire sort of philosophy on the entire hobby, man. It's awesome.
It's not even like an if it's gonna do the things that I want it to do. Like it will be in film festivals. I don't care how hard I have to push on it. Like I can maybe send you guys a link to our rough cut. I think you're really gonna like it, and I think the viewers, once it gets to a point where it is out there, I think it's something that you guys will watch and you'll really be able to relate with. And it's really not about me. It's about our community and it's about our hobby. And I think y'all are gonna love it.
Oh, dude! From what we've seen, we already were enamored. It was like, dude, this is so awesome that someone's doing this. It's amazing, dude. So
yeah, I think I called you and saw. I was like, you need to watch this shit. You need to watch. I was like, dude, I don't know what happened, but you need to watch this. Go watch this shit right now.
Yes.
That's what I like to hear, man.
But yeah, so everybody, if you haven't already seen it, go check it out. The links are going to be in the description. If you can, kick something his way. We're going to throw something together. We've got a little bit of a pot going that we're gonna throw up there. So yeah, if you can do something, do it. If not, just having that feedback, getting those views on his YouTube channel, stuff like that, it all helps. Just that exposure.
Or mail me your old darts that you don't want anymore. If you're using Elite stuff and you just have streamlines and whistlers laying around, like seriously, like I will take whatever weird stuff you got, toss it in the arena, and we will have tons of fun with it. So I appreciate it if you do.
Awesome. Hey, brother, thanks for getting on with us, man. Hey, we're gonna pre-book you after you do your film tour. We want to interview on the aftermath when you celebrate your success.
Heck yeah, man.
Make it happen. Sounds like a ton of fun.
And if your tour brings you to our neck of the woods,
then we'll put a game together.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. I'll be out there eventually. I'm already traveling so much for this other film too. Like my goal is to travel around and be able to play Nerf with people and start Nerf clubs. So like it's gonna happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because I'm just not gonna give up on this.
Hey, dude, when you hit NorCal, you make sure you hit us up. We'll throw something together. We'll have a good time.
Heck yeah.
Totally in.
Awesome, man. All right, so we always end episodes. I forgot to preface this with you, but on 3 we always end with happy tagging because we don't want to say shooting or anything like that.
I like it.
So, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Happy tagging! I didn't know your timing for that. Happy tagging!
Oh shit.
All